for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody to the 1 p.m. May 16th, 2022 general meeting of the Southampton Town Trustees. I would like the Secretary Treasurer to call the roll.
President Scott Howitz,
I am present.
William Pell, Secretary Treasurer, Edward J. Warner Jr.,
Present.
Ann Walker,
Here.
and William Parrish.
Present.
We all are here.
Okay,
Mr.
so
President.
just for the public's information, our next work session is scheduled to be on Monday, June 6th, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. with our regular meeting following later on that day at 1 p.m. We do have one set of minutes to be accepted, and that's the April 18th, 2022, 1 p.m. meeting.
I'll second that acceptance, because I think we all had a chance to look at them.
You okay with that? Sure.
Yep, I'm all right. Good?
You
I'm
good? Seconded by Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Good.
We did have some communications that have come in. I will make a motion to dispense reading of the communications. Everybody has received that in their packet.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Moving right along, we do have some public hearings.
I just have a few things to bring up.
You have them to bring up now before the public hearings, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to give an update on North Sea Harbor dredging. The dredging is there. It's going to work until June 3rd. And today's the first full day of full dredging. They're going to let us know how much they can do. Depends on the material they're picking up. And you want to say a few things on it?
No, I just think that it was a, much-needed project. This is a very dynamic area, and it's also a very important area. Various marinas and public interests exist. And I just want to acknowledge all the hard work from everybody that got around the table to collaborate to get this dredge project to be done. My hat's off to, Scott Hillary from Suffolk County. He basically does a lot of work environmentally for the county and for this dredging to be able to get done. And Bill Hillman, along with all the crew members there, Mark Woolley from Congressman Zeldin's office, and Steve Sienkiewicz over U.S. Fish and Wildlife, folks over at the Army Corps of Engineers. Everybody has to get around the table to address concerns, spawning winter flounder concerns and concerns regarding threatened and endangered species, birds that our environmental analyst, James Duryea, has to, manage with our plover stewards. And I think that it's finally a great thing when here we are, sitting mid-May, and we're underway with our first full day of dredging. The sooner we get done, the less impacts I believe there will be to the environment. Birds will be hatching around that point in time. You'll have these little hatchlings that are looking to forage around. So I think, getting done by that date would be a good thing, and it would be good to get the public back to being able to enjoy a resource of recreation, boating, and public safety. Number one for this board. And I just want to commend and thank everybody that was involved to making this happen. It seems as though there's always some issue that we have to deal with. This one came to a successful resolution. My hat's off to the dredge crew and everybody involved.
Did you thank members of the public as well for their contributions,
Well,
letters?
I always commend members of the public for their participation in helping tell the story that the trustees need to also convey to all the other regulatory authorities. The trustees are the boots on the ground here in getting things done, and we're the board that I have said time and time again, I pride us as being the closest to the people in getting things done. So whenever the public does come out to provide, good information in terms of conditions and situations where good decision-making can be done, and also aid the trustees in advocacy and collaboration around those tables to get projects like this done. It's always a great thing. So for this project and for any project, public participation is always something that's very important to myself, and I know to this board at large.
Yeah, I'd really like to personally thank Scott Hillary and Suffolk County DPW and Bill Hillman and everybody else on that end that to get this dredging done. It was a pretty heavy lift because it was outside of the normal dredge season, and the The county unfortunately only has one dredge and 4 dredge crew to do all the dredging in Suffolk County. They do sub out some of their larger projects, but the smaller Peconic Bay estuary system projects are done in-house, and they really, I give them a yeoman's lift. Basically, they really stepped up and did a really good job, and a lot of people got involved, and it's like Scott and Bill had said, that it's not only the county, and it's many other agencies. And I'd also like to thank James Duryea in our office, because he was the point person receiving all the phone calls, and Jessica Feldman also, all the correspondence that was sent to the county from our office, from the local people, to help us get this prioritized. So I really want to thank everybody. It was an effort that everybody had their hands on, so thank you.
And also the state of New York as well, because there are a lot of, very talented people that work for the New York State DEC that also had to do what they had to do to get the clearances necessary. And let's not minimize, by any means, all the hard work that the folks over there at the state of New York did. Department of Environmental Conservation to also clear the path so that we could successfully remedy this. I know, Trustee Pell, you seem to have some
Yes,
urgency here.
I just, Saturday morning, I got a call from one of the neighbors in North Sea about a boat which sank and was leaking fuel. But right now, I have the Bay Constable Altitude, he's on the phone, and they got the boat floating, and they want the board permission to put on a mooring until the boat hauler can come and take it out. Al, I got you on speakerphone. You want to explain what you want to do?
Well, they have the boat's been emptied of all diesel fuel and everything. It's been pumped out by Walter Britton, and they have Bill Decker coming tomorrow, but they want to move it on a mooring because they're afraid with the spring tide, if it goes too low, they don't want to have bottom suction and have it sink again then. So they wanted to put it on one of Josh Belluri's moorings overnight and then Billy Decker will be there in the morning.
I think that's reasonable.
I'm fine with that. Long as
Right now, though, it would help because it's on somebody else's property tied up, so that would be one. And I have enough faith. Billy Decker does all this stuff, the trustees hauling barges and everything, so I'm gonna go, we have no reason to doubt their word.
Okay. Long as someone's watching it, because we're having heavy storms tonight, I don't want the mooring to break loose and cause more
I'll
damage.
tell Walter it's gonna be their responsibility to monitor it during the storm.
Okay. Yes, you have our permission.
Okay, I'll give him a call.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So regarding this boat which just sunk, what we were just talking about, North Sea Creek, I called the Coast Guard first thing, then I called the trustee, Southampton Town Marine Patrol, and the maintenance crew responded, in conjunction with the New York State DEC, the DEC spill response, the U.S. Coast Guard, Southampton Fire Marshal's response, trustees, marine maintenance came, helped clean up, put the booms around to prevent any more additional oil from coming in, from entering the creek. They did it on both sides, so it won't go all the way up to the front of the creek where the LYs are. The vessel owner, with the help of the state DEC spill response, was able to contact Miller Environmental for removal of all oil and diesel fuel from the vessel and the cleanup of the creek and area. The booms are also placed on the south end of the canal to prevent diesel from going up into LY creeks, stream into L&D's Park. On Saturday, the Bay Constable stood by area assistant Miller Environmental vessel owned and tried to right the vessel, but was unable to do so. They also cleaned up additional boom material, absorptive pad as the day went on to get all the oil out of the wetlands. The Marine Bay Constables and Marine Patrol have remained the lead agency for the last few days to see the removal of the vessel and cleaning of the entire throughout. Currently, the vessel is floating, and the arrangements are being made to get it towed to the ramp and hauled out this afternoon. That was the last update, and someone had a lot of discussions, a lot of calls on what if the person got any fine. This is what I was told. They got multiple town fines, state and Coast Guard violation issues to them. The money-wise, I have no idea. but they just
Right,
got a
so-
whole handful of
Right,
fines.
and then the update from that is it's gonna sit on a mooring overnight
Yes.
to be hauled out tomorrow. So, what a mess.
Yeah, then the wetlands will be monitored for next week or so if there's any more oil coming out.
Okay. But it sounds like they've got that,
Yes.
at least out of the vessel, under control.
It was a good working effort between all the agencies and the town and state and federal. And then a lot of the neighbors really pitched in
We-
and helped.
We don't have any further details relative to
No.
the nature of these violations, but there's multiple violations
Yes.
that have been issued from various different regulatory authorities for the owner to answer to. Okay.
To this problem. You can continue on. Sorry
I
for the
can
interruption.
continue on. No, it's fine. That's fine.
Just before we move on from North Sea Harbor, two quick things. One, the, two questions. One, the dredge spoil is all going to the west side
Yes.
for this?
Yes.
Okay. And two, I think it's important that we acknowledge that this is the only dredging project that Suffolk County is doing this spring, right? Because of the nature of it, because of the length of the scope of work, is that correct?
That was what I was
That's what we were
understanding,
told.
because of the time frame of it.
So-
It's gonna be almost 3 weeks
Yeah.
and 20,000 cubic yards.
Right, it's looking like the other projects that are listed on the priority dredge list for our town are gonna have to get pushed till later on in the fall.
Fall.
That's what it's looking like based on what's going on here and the amount of time that they have to spend.
Right.
So we do have other dredge projects that we have asked, and I think have been accepted on the priority dredge list, but because of, all the logistics and regulations, that it won't work out until the next dredge window.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? I mean, I've also been attending the meetings on the Fort Pond dredge, which has been going on for
Yes.
years and years, and it's
Wait.
still going on.
Where does that stand, or would you want to address that at some point,
Well,
maybe?
it stands at the fact that there still, to date, is not a acceptable dewatering site, because it's quite the engineering feat to be able to dredge that cubic yardage that's needed, because you're gonna basically get one shot at that. And you need like 7 to 8 acres of land in order to effectively dewater the amount of dredge spoil that's needed. And with the, the highly constrained area that we have, we're still waiting for the trustees and the owners of the properties over there to come up with something that's accessible. May have to,
And one further thing that's hindering the process is the coring samples and the contaminants that were found in the material. So it's actually become a problematic dredging and to find a place after it gets dewatered
Well-
and dried out to
Well, first,
give it to.
Well, first of all, yeah, that's true. So when you test it, it has to be taken off Long Island, so it can't stay here. So that's problematic. Now, that could be retested, okay, after a year, after it's been sitting for a while, it may actually test differently, and it may be acceptable to be somewhere on Long Island at that point in time. However, to even get to that point, there has to be an acceptable spot, and they still have not locked in on an acceptable spot. And, it's a tremendous cost factor, it's a tremendous amount of engineering and logistics to do that. But you gotta lock down where it is that the material's gonna go. So I've been going to meetings and doing everything that we can, the trustees, to try and facilitate a project like that. But realistically, you're gonna get one shot at that, you wanna do it the right way, and again, collaboration, everybody's gotta get around the table and solve, the big problems. There is no, great place to do this, because, you have neighborhoods and wetlands, and you have all different types of obstructions
Okay.
and factors that,
Yeah.
make it like you're gonna
And
pick
you- yeah.
your best, worst choice is what you're gonna pick, but,
Right.
it's about
That's no
surface
problem.
water
Right.
quality.
But one thing
Okay.
people have to realize that if you have
Another update on the boat, they're not gonna put it on the mooring because there's some problem with the owner and the boat hauler.
There's a problem now with the owner and the boat hauler.
Yeah, so it has to stay on the property until he arranged the boat hauler to be there to pick it up.
Okay, so nothing ever goes smooth or easy, but I appreciate the real-time updates we're getting here at the Board of Trustees. All right, so that project's a ways off.
Yeah.
But people are working on that, and apparently this project's a little bit of a ways off, too.
Yes.
So before I go opening public hearings, is there anything else that we want to get into? We're okay to open a public hearing?
I think you might have Tiffany once.
Well, we're not up to that.
Okay.
We're,
Go ahead.
where are we? We're not up to that part yet.
Public hearing.
All right, so we do have public hearing number one. We've got a notice of public hearing on to amend the Blue Book Article 2, Section 14 harvest limits to authorize the Board of Trustees to impose seasonal razor clam harvest restrictions to prevent harm to the shellfish population. I'd like to make a motion to open that public hearing.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Pell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So let's get into this. You want to discuss this, Trustee Pell?
This is basically make the dates the same of both, all over the town's waters of Southampton. That includes Shinnecock Bay, east and west, up towards West Hampton. Also, the different creeks on the Peconic Bay where people might want to go raise the clamming. And so the dates are going to be
December 2nd?
December 2nd to April 15th would be the close date.
Okay, so it will set aside any ambiguity. It will be mindful of sustainable shellfish
Yes.
stocks. It'll be
This-
mindful of traditional bayman harvesting in all
Yes.
bay bottoms.
Yep. That all came into thought. There was a lot of thought into this, a lot of communication with some of the baymen
Right,
on this, and they were ones who were pushing this.
right.
You want to keep it open or close it?
I think this can be closed. I think
I
that
feel
this
so,
is
too.
very important. Sustainable shellfish populations are important to everybody for various reasons. I think that I've seen enough and heard enough on this, and did the amount of research that we've all
You good,
done,
Bill?
that I've done, I think that there's enough information that this board has to, regulate our shellfish harvest, which is one of the primary functions of the Board of Trustees. So at this point in time, that being said, I would make a motion to close this public hearing.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Trustee Pell. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The second public hearing that we have is amendment of rules and regulations for the management and products of town waters, considering amending the management and products of Article 4, Section 22, specifically nesting areas.
This, to change in the Blue Book so people can donate money and sponsor osprey nest in the town. We definitely do need a lot of osprey nest. I saw one the other day, a new one, what actually made a nest on top of a duck blind. So that's two in the Coal Scholar Pond area where there's nest on top of duck blinds. And, Ed was talking about he saw a bunch of ospreys over by his place. So this is what this does, so people can, if they want to sponsor a nest to help us with the cost.
You're right, this would be a program where people could make a donation and
Yes.
sponsor an osprey pole or an osprey nest. I
In
mean,
memory of someone or whatever they want to do.
Yeah, and
Actually, I'm going to do one myself.
And our marine maintenance crew would be putting them up.
Yes.
Once they're built and the areas that are, basically looked at and appropriate for them to be placed. I think it's a really good project, Billy, and I myself have set like 6 nests up, and, they're all inhabited by ospreys and have offspring every year. But the problem is, the more nests we put up, the more birds keep coming back
Yes,
here.
and they have
so-
babies.
Which is a good thing, because they were almost wiped out back when there was DDT, but now that we no longer use that chemical in the environment, they've rebounded. The bunker population, which is their mainstay of food, has rebounded, so it's a full circle thing, so I think it's a
And
great
before,
project.
people used to donate poles, or we used to be able to get them. Now they're getting kind of hard to get, and we have to actually purchase some, and they're expensive. I just want to make thank Billy Clare. He donated some poles in the past to us, and he has some more poles for us now. Phil Matthews of the Village of Southampton donated us a pole. I have another pole to go look up off in North Sea, what a person wants to donate. So this would really help us out on this.
You know, and I can think of two very recent examples where the trustees, the Board of Trustees worked with Boy Scouts
Right.
earning their Eagle Scout.
Correct.
You know, doing a project where we've had two successful projects that were done in coordination with the Eagle Scouts. And I think that's a great thing too, because when you have the community coming together, you know, it's an honor to work with the Eagle Scouts, and it's a great thing to be rebuilding, you know, habitat like this. And I think it's a good program. I hope people embrace it, and I think when people learn about it, I think that they will. And I don't see any need to keep this public hearing open either.
I'll make a motion to close it.
I'll second his motion to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's closed. Now we're getting to public portion. This is for items that are not on the public hearings. If there's anything else that the public would like to address the board on, now is the time here at public portion.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll speak. I don't know if anybody,
you can speak. Go on up. Is it shine up sheet there, James?
Yes.
Okay. You can go to the podium and sign in, and
Will we keep a time?
Hi, Tiffany.
How are you guys?
Good, how you doing today?
Fine. Well, thank
I
you.
don't think we generally have one on public portion, but I know
No.
time limit, yeah. We'll just monitor this.
Good afternoon. Tiffany Gavin, 53 Cliff Drive,
Hello.
Sag Harbor. I'm here to follow up. I have been notified that 65 Cliff Drive has been issued a violation from the DEC. So now, the first violation on 65 Cliff Drive was from the trustees back in 2020. That violation has yet to be remediated, so it does imply that it's still an open violation on 65 Cliff Drive. So now we have two violations on a property, and I'm curious to understand how this property has dumped in a waterway, stopped navigation, is harming water. They are continuing to be able to stay in this arena without any problems.
Right.
Mark, I have a question for Mark, our town attorney here. What's the next step for us to do? Do we give them another ticket, or?
Yeah, we can, if it's an ongoing violation that's not been remedied, we can continue to hit them with more paper, but I'll speak with Mr. Cambridge about this also, just find out what the status is of all of the pending fines and how much has been paid, and then.
Yeah, 'cause
we'll
if
go
not, I think we should hit them with it.
No fines have been applied. They have paid nothing. There has been nothing. So they're acting as no impetus to remediate this issue.
like we
And they
have no-
are able to act in this manner because no permits were
No,
filed.
and it's embarrassing for us, because like, we have no enforcement. And
It seems like it, and I
Yes.
don't think that, I don't know really,
it's a
if
bad
there's no
example.
law for you guys to have an enforcement,
Yeah,
we should set one, because right now, we have a precedent in the town of Southampton that as long as no permits are pulled, there is no ramifications. This property has continued to be developed, we're continuing to stay in harm, we have no water, and they are building a $6.5 million home. Nothing has stopped them. The silk fence? Or
Silt.
Silt fence is now down. I have photos from my paddle this morning to show you. So they're right now in the position where they're affronted. 65 Cliff Drive is affronted that they cannot get a high sill bulkhead. They traded away that high sill bulkhead in trade for the pool. Now they are bolstering a defense to prove that they need a high sill bulkhead back. So at no point are they part of a solution to a problem. They've never come to the table with a viable solution. There's zero action. My neighbors are harmed, the area is harmed. This is the third summer no navigation, the third summer we can't crab, the third summer where there's no fish, and we just are sitting here without any action.
All right, Sean, so I think you got to give.
Mark.
Right, Mark, you have to speak to Sean, right? Because Sean was handling this before. So let's give you the opportunity to get with Sean. Yeah, obviously, you've heard the concerns from the community. And we're going to need a definitive plan on how to answer those concerns. So give you the opportunity to meet with Sean, because I know you're just starting up here with this. And Sean was kind of dealing with this for,
Many years.
My
just find
understanding was
out
a
if-
notice of violation. Can we actually have them write a violation?
I really think that this
That's-
really, we can sit and debate it all day here,
Yeah.
but really, Mark has to talk to Sean. And furthermore, if it's turning into something else, you know, I think that the town attorney's office needs to deal with that. Because you clearly hear the concerns from the neighborhood, and now you got the state involved with a violation as well. So it's getting more complex. So, you know, you're gonna have to have a conversation with Mr. Cambridge.
And the
be in a
notice of
cost.
violation is our violation. Once they've
Yeah.
been given the notice of violation, they've been given notice that they have
Okay.
violated part of the code.
Does he?
My next question is, what kind of violation were they given from the DEC?
I have no idea. I'm
We-
just
we-
finding about.
Mr. Mark Woolley of Lee Zeldin's
We don't know
office.
all these things. We don't know these things yet, so
I-
this is
I'm-
all
Right,
new.
it's kind of all,
This is
it's
all-
so brand new.
This
so-
is all new, so this is a lot of new going on here. You know, we've been asking, you know, to try and remedy this and for help in remedying this. There's been a lot of meetings, there's been a lot of back and forth. You need to have a conversation with Sean. You need to get this information on where we're at. And there's been more than enough attempt at collaboration on sensibly and reasonably resolving this issue. And that needs to happen sooner rather than later. So whatever it is that you have to do, get with Sean, you know, maybe make a call over to council at the DEC and figure out how we fix the problem.
And also find out what's our next step. Do we issue a ticket or another violation? Right, Ed?
Yep.
And Mark Woolley of the Lee Zeldin's office has been, in addition to you guys, have been working with Rob Marsh and other people in the DEC to get this to this point. So that, I think it happened maybe on Thursday or Friday. So what the violation looks like at this point, I'm not sure. I'm trying to get that myself.
okay.
But
I'll find it.
it's there. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Right.
continued efforts.
Thank you, Tiffany.
We appreciate it
yes.
very much.
I'd like to see,
Thank
know,
you.
Thank you.
like to see a sensible solution here.
Yes, it's been going on much too long.
All right, is there anybody else on the public portion side of this that wants to speak on any other issue? No, no one else wants to speak on it. Okay, so let's get right into our resolutions. I got trustee resolution 2022-146. It's a first renewal application, GP 000273 of Carp Management Group LLC, 17 Ludlow Lane. It's a first renewal. I recommend we issue the renewal.
Second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Trustee Powell.
I have trustee resolution 2022-147, renew application that was also for the second time for Fowler Surf LLC, permit number GP 000173, 330 Fowler Street, Southampton, New York, tax map 0900-178-1-20.2, body of water, Atlantic Ocean.
Give that a second, Billy.
Seconded, trustee Warner. All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye. Trustee Resolution 2022-162, application for the town of Southampton, Gannett Creek Inlet, Village of North Haven, Suffolk County Tax Map 901-2-3-1.2, body of water, Gannett Creek. Worked at this on the work session. I recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Pell. All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2022-148, this application, Mecox Lane LLC, 45 Mecox Lane in Watermill, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-114-2-40.5. This is on Mecox Bay. We discussed the replacement of this 273 feet of bulkhead with an extensive buffer at work session. I'd like to recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2022-149, this is a final renewal for the application of 14 Kayaks LLC, permit number FXD 00042, 531 Sagaponack Road in the Village of Sagaponack, Suffolk County Tax Map 908-3-2-6.1, body of water Sagaponack Pond. I'd like to recommend the renewal.
Second.
Seconded trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2022-150, this is a third renewal of the permit for GP 000026, 14 Kayaks LLC, 545 Sagaponack Road, Sagaponack, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map 908-3-2.6, body of water Sagaponack Pond. I would also like to recommend the renewal of this application.
Second.
Seconded trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is trustee resolution 2022-151, renewal application of permit number GP 000222, Robert Fogelson of 12 Hampton Close, Village of West Hampton Beach, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map number 90510-7-37, body of water, Moneybog Bay.
Second.
Seconded trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Trustee Resolution 2022-152, category local laws and trustees. Notice to adoption amendment of Blue Book Article 2, Section 14, harvest limit and modification of shellfish harvest regulatories, establish new season raisin clam harvest restriction to prevent harmful to the raisin clam population. Whereas the Bayman Association has requested that the Board of Trustees take emergency action in order to limit the harvest of raisin clam in order to protect the local shellfish population, and whereas a public hearing was held on May 16th, 2022, at which time all persons either for or against the imposed seasonal clam harvest restriction to prevent harm to the raisin clam population were heard, and whereas the trustee was determined to propose a resolution to consider type 2 action under NYCRR Part 617.5, provision of the New York State Environmental Review Act, SEQA, and Chapter 157 Southampton Town Code, and that no further review under New York Conservation Law and Article A is necessary now and therefore to be resolved. The resolution imposed seasonal clam harvest restrictions to prevent harm to the raisin clam population, adopted as follow.
I'll second.
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 All in favor?
No, I was going to say seconded trustee
Good
Parrish,
job.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to recuse myself because I'm.
With one recusal of trustee Warner.
Trustee Resolution 153, notice of adopt amendment rule and regulation for management of product of town waters, the Blue Book, consider amendment management of product with the water, Southampton Article 5, Neston, Section 22, Neston area, where the Board of Trustees, actually, do you want me to read this whole thing in?
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead.
No, it's for the Osprey nest.
Read it in if you like.
Okay. Where the Board of Trustee of the Common Hall in the town of Southampton is considered amendment the rules and regulation for manage the product of the water of the town of Southampton, Article 5, Section 2, the nesting area in order to promote and plan to increase the viable habitat for ospreys. And where the public hearing was held May 16, 2022, the meeting of the town hall, which time any or all person either or against the amendment were heard. Now therefore be it
Resolved.
resolved, Article 5, Section 22, nesting area, the rules and regulation for management, production of the water of town of Southampton hereby adopted as follow.
Wait, was that Article 4?
Yes, Article 4.
Maybe you just want to read the change? Is that okay?
Yeah, we can do that. The Board of Trustees of Southampton desires to update the rule book regulation of management and product of the town of water, the Blue Book, Section 4, 22 to establish a program to construct osprey nests throughout the town of Southampton to encourage, permit volunteer public participation in the program. Article 4, Section 22, Rules and Regulations of the Management and the Product of the Waters of the Town of Southampton hereby amend by adding the underlined words as the following. The Board of Trustees hereby establish a program to construct and erect osprey poles and nesting on property owned by the trustee to encourage the birds to annual return and increase the number of osprey within our ecosystem. The Board of Trustees will also place osprey poles and suitable private property within the town provision of the landlord request or permit by the Board of Trustees and do so. The Board of Trustees wish to encourage a public participation in this program. To the end, will graciously accept donations and material, label, and construct the nesting of the box of the osprey poles. Or monetary donation is defray the cost of the program to that end. The Board of Trustees will erect a sign or plaque publicly acknowledge the person or person sponsored or a particular osprey pole.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, good. Want to
Yep.
second it? I'll
second.
it. Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Parish.
Trustee Resolution 2022-154, category waterfowl hunting location permit. Waterfowl hunting location revocation of permits for the 2021-2022 hunting season, whereas the Board of Trustees finds that the subject project is a type 2 action pursuant to 6 New York Codes, Rules and Regulations, Part 617, and no further environmental review is required under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Now therefore whereas the following waterfowl hunting location permits were approved for the 2021 hunting season, and the permit holders subsequently received various notices of violations pursuant to Article 5, waterfowl hunting, Section 38 from the Southampton Town Bay Constables as follows. Wesley Bennett, permit number 14, failure to grass-place blind and arrange for a visual inspection by 12/31/21. Number 2, Wesley Bennett, permit number 15, failure to grass/place blind and arrange for a visual inspection by 12/31/21. Resolved that the waterfowl hunting location permits listed above had been revoked due to the permit holder's failure to comply with Article 5, Section 38 of the Rules and Regulations for the Management and Products of the Waters of the Town of Southampton. And be it further resolved that the above-mentioned permit holders have the right to appeal the revocation of said permits within 30 days of the date of this resolution by sending written notice to the trustees pursuant to Section 38D2 of the Rules and Regulations for the Management and Products of the Waters of the Town of Southampton. And be it further resolved, if no appeals are timely filed after the adoption of this resolution, the above permit locations may be offered to the wait list at the appropriate time.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I have 2022-155, waterfowl hunting location permit category, whereas waterfowl hunting location permits issued notices of violation for the 21-22 hunting season. The Board of Trustees finds that the subject project is type 2 action. No further environmental review is required, whereas the following waterfowl hunting location permits were approved for the 21-22 hunting season, and the permit holders subsequently received various notices of violation pursuant to Article 5, waterfowl hunting, Section 38. Christopher J. Ott, permit number 24 for failure to arrange for a visual inspection by 12/23/21. And resolved that upon a showing of good cause from each of the above permittees, the Board of Trustees has decided not to revoke the waterfowl hunting location permits listed above, and the following the permit holders to renew for the 22-23 season, and no similar relief will be granted to these permit holders in the future unless agreed upon by a majority plus one of the Board of Trustees. So, seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2022-156, road review application for 76 Canoe Place Road, LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-231-2-5.2, situated at 76 Old Canoe Place Road, Hampton Bays, is accepted. I recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded trustee Pell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Trustee Resolution 2022-157, road review application for Roy and Marie Cohen, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-35-2-63.2, situate at 1201 Noyak Path, Bridgehampton, is accepted. So I'd like to recommend the
Second.
approval.
Second.
Seconded trustee Pell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Scott.
Yeah, I see. I got 2022-158 fish trap fike permit. This application for one new fish trap fike location, application of Zachary Hour, body of water, Tiana Flat, south side of Shinnecock Bay. It's one trap. This area was looked at by our constables. It was also looked at by our board, and I believe it to be acceptable for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it was seconded by trustee Pell. Trustee Resolution 2022-159 is the denial of the license agreement for Kamadiva Yoga LLC. I would like to make a motion to recall and amend this with different wording.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Pell. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I would like to read the denial. Whereas Kamadiva Yoga, hereinafter referred to as applicant, herein seeks a license agreement through the submission of an application with the trustees of the freeholders and commonality of the town of Southampton to conduct a business for profit, said business being the instruction of paddleboarding, including but not limited to paddleboarding lessons and a day camp on and about Circle Beach located in the hamlet of Noyak in the town of Southampton. Whereas a properly noticed public hearing was held on April 18th, 2022 and May 2nd, 2022 at 1 p.m. at Southampton Town Hall, at which time the applicant and all members of the public were given the opportunity to be heard on the application, and arguments were heard by this board from the public and the applicant regarding whether a license agreement should be granted. And whereas a number of residents and members of the public gave comments against the issuance of a license agreement to the applicant, raising such concerns as safety issues, including no lifeguard on duty at the location, and increased boat traffic in the channel and in close proximity to Mill Creek's 3 marinas and local mooring fields. Additional issues that were raised were the lack of restrooms and no refuse receptacles at the beach, which would result in littering, inadequate parking space that would cause congestion problems to local residents that use the beach on a daily basis, and safety concerns for a contingent of pedestrian traffic. Moreover, the vast majority of comments mentioned the potential for increased traffic in an already busy neighborhood. Whereas the trustees, after due deliberation and a thorough review of all the issues presented by both applicant and the individuals that appeared at the hearing, spoke, as well as all the written comments from members of the community, now therefore be it resolved that the Kamadiva's application for a license agreement is hereby denied for the aforementioned reasons raised by the public and as not being in the best interest of the residents of the town of Southampton.
Second.
Seconded trustee Pell. All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2022-160 to authorize the opening of Mecox Bay and Sagaponack Pond. Whereas Board of Trustees are owners of the land commonly known as Mecox Bay and Sagaponack Pond, whereas the water levels in Mecox Bay and Sagaponack Pond are at flood stage and are in danger of flooding neighboring homes and land, whereas in order to avoid such flooding, the trustees desire to open Mecox Bay and Sagaponack Pond so that the water will flow freely into the ocean. Whereas the trustees have requested modification to corresponding permits obtained from New York State DEC to open Mecox Bay and Sagaponack Pond, whereas the laws of New York in 1892 and 1907 provide the trustees with the authority to open an inlet from the ocean into Shinnecock Bay or into Mecox Bay or Sagaponack Bay as necessary, and whereas when goods procured from a valid state, county, or legal applicable federal cooperative entities, a contract exceeding the mandatory bidding threshold, a resolution authorizing the purchase must be submitted and approved. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorize the opening of Mecox Cut and Sagaponack Pond by a third-party vendor to dredge the inlet from the ocean to Mecox Bay and Sagaponack Pond anytime during the time period May 16th up to and including July 11th, 2022.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2022-161, Finance for the trustees. Trustees of the freeholders. Warrant number 8 of 2022. Recommend the review of the town control of the following vendor payment warrant 8 to be approved to the amount of $22,921.02. Whereas further resolved, the following invoices are approved to be payment. Dime Bank, that's a credit card, $4,444.98. Law Office of Con and Con, $12,750. Fish's Sign, $195, no cents. W Grain, $61.26. Home Depot Credit Service, $591.93, that's for maintenance. Joseph R. Lavada, $2,600. Lopa Equipment, $764.96. Mercury Marine, $30. Otis Ford, $81.29. PSEGLI, $64.33, a total of $22,900.
There's a couple more.
Oh, my God. We're gonna go broke.
Just 3.
You ain't lying. And I got more work for you when you're done.
Yeah. Riverhead Building Supply, $937.88. WP Mason Company, $333.39. Wesley Fabrication, $66. Chuck Total, $22,921.02.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Aye, and that motion carries. And I would like to make a motion to walk the
I'll
resolution on.
second
Seconded by
that.
Trustee Warner. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now I'm going to give Trustee Pell more work to do. You want to read that?
You know, you can now. Recall and amend Resolution 2022-126, authorize the purchase 6 8-inch, 25-foot pylons. Whereas April 18th, 2022, Trustee Resolution 2022-126 was adopted as follows as. Whereas the Board of Trustees requires pylons for Willie Pond, and as a Board Trustee obtained quotes from Pearson Piles, and where the Board of Trustee Resolution 2002 requires authorized to resolve for any expenditure over $1,000. Now therefore to be resolved that the trustee payment to Pearson Power sources of funds should be GL SN 9-8790-00-6480-00. Resolve the trustee resolution hereby amend as follows. Whereas the Board of Trustees have obtained two quotes for pylons, Pearson and Shoreline Plastic. Shoreline Plastic was the lowest responsive bidder with a quote of $4,885, and where the Board of Trustees Resolution 2022-2 requires authorized to resolve for any expenditure over $1,000. Now where therefore be it. Resolve the Board of Trustees authorize payment of Shoreline LLC in that the source of the funds should become from GL SN-99-8790-00-6480-000 in amount not to exceed $6,000.
Second.
Seconded. Trustee Welker. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, so I know we have a 2 o'clock executive session, and this one we actually may even make on time, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything, I know we did have a lot of back and forth with the board on various different issues and topics. If there's nothing more that the board needs to publicly discuss, I see they're ready for our executive session. I would urge us to adjourn and go into executive session for the purposes of discussing litigation. You have something to say?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
North Sea Harbor was discussed and
Yes.
everything else.
Everything's been discussed.
I think it's,
So
We're moving forward with Mecox.
we're
I don't
moving
have a
forward. We
date, but we're
had this
moving forward.
discussion, that's already been, we would just be treading old ground. All right, so I put a motion on the table.
second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're going to adjourn our meeting, go into executive session.
The
you.
long-term weather is like
You want a copy of this?
next